My goal for this interpretation is to use topic comment structure and to use appropriate timelines.
In the summer of 2005, I could tell that my parents were acting a little bit strange. I would go find them somewhere in the house and try to ask them a question or tell them something, and they would. They would abruptly stop their conversation or make sure that it was known that I was in presence and wait for me to finish what I'm saying and leave, make sure that I'm out of earshot before they started talking again. And so finally one day they sat me and my sister down and told us that they were getting divorced. And I just immediately started crying. I just thought about some of my friends who had divorced parents and how I would always think about how lucky I was that I only had one house, one room, one set of clothes. My parents were just together. So afterwards, my sister and I just didn't know what to say. And when we were in our rooms alone, she came into my room and just gave me a sad hug. And I will always remember that because we don't hug ever. We're not very close. So after that day, I knew that I just didn't want to think about it anymore. But there were weird situations that would start to come up. Like my mom slept in the guest bedroom, even though they weren't separated completely yet. Uh, and then school was starting in the fall, and one day we were going to approve what was going to go in the school directory as for the addresses, and I wanted to put my mom's new address in there and phone number so that my friends could get a hold of me no matter which house I was at. So I remember thinking that I'm about to go into my 8th grade year, and I have to deal with this sad event while being very excited to be finishing up grade school. But I felt weird telling my friends that my parents got divorced because we went to Catholic school. And that's not allowed for people to get divorced. So I couldn't tell them, but I wanted to be able to have them over to hang out on the weeks that I was at my mom's house. So I eventually did have to tell them, but it was definitely a very weird subject to talk about. It was also the first time in my life I had to realize the concept that my parents do have money issues. Not major ones, but like when my mom and I were shopping for things at our house, it was very apparent that we were on a very tight budget, which I hadn't experienced before. I also had to be very cautious about around my parents. I didn't know if I should mention my mom to my dad or mention my dad to my mom. I didn't know if they were going to be friendly still or not. eventually we got used to the idea. My friends could come over to my mom's house. I told them that they were divorced and they didn't act weird to me. And my parents stayed friendly and still are.